We would go to our clubs, which was no YMCA, none of that. We would go to an abandoned building in which we took and kind of like renovated maybe one or two apartments. And it became a second home to us.
We kind of like, you know, it was a bad thing that the Bronx was burning down or other, but we kind of like liked it in the fact that we have clubs left and right. You know, and for a lot of us, that used to be our first apartments.
A bunch of little kids walking around with a mattress going into an abandoned building, you know, finding a old broken down chair or something. Oh, that's a good thing for the living room for our club. We came here tonight to go down and spread the word all around town. So young ladies, don't front on me now. We know that you want to get down. The music that you hear is a treat. So get your butt up out of your seat. The rap will have you stomping your feet to the sounds of the funky breaking bells beat.
This facility that you see right now used to be where the legendary dungeon, which was an abandoned building, was brought by Joey from the city for $1. I think in 1978, for the b-boys and the urban kids, this was our Studio 54.
That was a good thing for us because we had to dance in the street no more, you know? We just hook up the lights.
By 1978, GSD, the original members of Salsoul crew, had turned 18 and even older. Because of this, they stopped going to the local teen events and the early hooky jams. The local guy who originally founded Salsoul crew, named Joey, had opened up a teen club in an abandoned building he called the Dungeon. Apparently, he had purchased the whole building for $1 because of a South Bronx Renovation Act. This program enabled South Bronx residents to take matters into their own hands and liberate buildings and battle city intentions to demolish every building that was not slated for renovation through a special federal program. Track 2, Boss, and Blue Eyes were together with Spy, JoJo, and Karate Manny. They were also joined by a boy from TBB, the Bronx Boys, who just happened to be at the schoolyard. Together, this group of teenagers all walked to the Dungeon. It was a whole abandoned city block that was on Belmont Avenue and 176th Street. The abandoned building looked like a ghetto Studio 54. The block was black and totally dark as they turned left from East Tremont Avenue into Belmont Avenue. Track remembers the journey. A lot of muggings happened there, but we were a crowd of kids and it was just another neighborhood to us. After Track knocked on the door, a member of TDK opened it and then called out for Joey to come to the front. Track recalls, Joey came to the door and said we all couldn't come in. I didn't realize that we had about 50 people that were following us as we walked down the street. I told him I don't know who they are. Then I pointed out my 15 guys and we walked into the club for free. All of the others paid $1 to get in. As we walked into the Dungeon, it was an abandoned building that wasn't anything special. It was just worn out with no graffiti on the walls. The floors were redone and covered with plywood. The plywood was from the abandoned building windows. We walked in and could see they had a string around the walls that they had knocked down. They knocked down the walls to open up the bedroom and kitchen to make the dance floor. It was like they made a boxing ring out of clothesline rope. The ring was approximately 10 feet wide by 12 feet long. I had most of our guys kneel down on one knee in the ring. The sound system was behind us in the right side corner. You had to go through a closet to get to the next apartment to get to the DJ booth that was shaped like a coconut. They had speakers in all four corners like a surround sound. The DJ played the music that we could dance to. The guys dancing had to stay inside the ropes. We were ready as we waited bent down on one knee. For that night, Starchild La Rock was made up of a Bai, Karate Manny, JoJo, Spy, Boss, Blue Eyes, and Track 2. The Disco Kids was made up of local kids named Mongol Rock, Wizard Wiz, Big Boom, Little Boom, Eddie, Vinny, and Ronnie Ron. The contest was a 7-on-7 battle with a $2 per person prize money, winner take all. Sir Noran Rad. Where did you live when the Disco Kids crew was formed? Kid: I was living in 1800 University Avenue on the west side of the Bronx. Sir Noran Rad: Were you also born in the Bronx? Kid: Yes, I was born in the Bronx. Sir Noran Rad: When was the TDK formed and who were the founders of this crew? Kid: Well, the TDK crew started in 1977 and lasted up to 1979, and the founders of the crew were me and my cousin. Sir Noran Rad: Your cousin's name is Joey TDK, right? Kid: Yeah. Sir Noran Rad: Was Joey also from the west side of the Bronx? Kid: No, Joey was on the east side of the Bronx on Belmont Avenue. Sir Noran Rad: The dungeon was the home base of the Disco Kids crew. Kid: TDK told me it opened in 1977. It was located on 176th Street and Belmont Avenue. Big Boom: That's correct. Sir Noran Rad: Please describe how you joined the ranks of the TDK crew and how that name TDK Zodiacs came about. Big Boom: Okay. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. We had met Kid on University Avenue 'cause I used to fly birds. So I took birds for checkup over there to university. There was a guy over there that we knew. So I would take birds to see how smart they were to come back to my neighborhood. And I would see Kid with a TDK shirt and everything. So I said, Yo, Kid. I knew Kid already from the Dutchman. Batch had went to prison already, so TBB was like at a standstill. So I told Kid, Yo, since you got TDK over here on University Avenue, why don't we make a crew on the east side? So he was like, alright. Elaborate on the name and come back to me. So it took us like a week. Me, my cousin Eddie, Little Boom and Fat Boom, we was sitting down with a piece of paper and we would do like brainstorming, you get it? You know how to brainstorming? And we came up with Zodiac. We said, you know what? Why don't we call it the Zodiac Lovers? Oh, shit. You know what? That sounds good, bro. So that was it. It was red shirts with black letters and it was TDK Zodiac Lovers. On one side of the arm we had TDK and then on the other side we had East Side. So we represented the East Side, you get it? Sir Noran Rad: So TDK had two divisions. One on the west side and the other one on the east side? Big Boom: Yes, that's correct. I was the president of the East Side division. Sir Noran Rad: What was the function of Little Joey in TDK? Big Boom: Little Joey was like the treasurer. He was like the guy when you'd come, he was at the door collecting the money, you know? He was like the doorman at the dungeon, you know what I mean? Sir Noran Rad: Now you have already told me that you were a part of the Bronx Boys, TBB, before you joined the Disco Kids, TDK. Now from what I have been told, TBB started out as a writing crew. As a matter of fact, TBB is listed in that book, Getting Up, written by Craig Castleman, among the most prominent writing crews of NYC. So before they got into b-boying, they were basically a writing crew with Batch, Cash and Shark. They would primarily hit bus depots. Big Boom: Exactly. I met Batch in 1975 and then I used to write Boom TBB. Sir Noran Rad: So you were already a part of TBB when they were still strictly a writing crew? Big Boom: Oh yeah, I was one of their original members. Like when Batch first made the colors and everything. 'Cause we used to go get t-shirts. And back then we had to go to either an Army and Navy store or something like that. They was printing the letters on the t-shirts. That was really famous back then. So when Batch started, TBBI was one of the original members. The shirts were blue and white and black and white. The girls had blue and white, the guys had black and white. Sir Noran Rad: Kid, TDK, told me that before him and his crew picked up b-boying they were heavy into the top rocking dance, which entailed doing certain gestures in order to intimidate their opponents. Would you also do that type of dancing? Big boom. I picked it up from Batch. Batch had a good way of doing it. He used to grab your head, like when he would come to you and grab your head. He would act like it was a ball and then throw your head up in the sky and hit it with a baseball bat, you get it? Or he would crawl up to you like a dog and lift his leg and piss on you, laughs. Sir Noran Rad, where did you witness b-boying for the time? Did you encounter the black b-boys back then? I'm asking this question because Lil Boy Keith from the Little Zulu Kings stated in the interview that I did with him that TDK was actually the first Puerto Rican b-boy crew he ever ran into. Big boom. No, I don't recall running into the Zulu Kings back then. I heard about them though. I remember being in 129 and seeing TT Rock when he went down. I think Batch talks about it that TT Rock threw himself on the floor and did that breakdance move. I was there in 129 when that happened. After that everybody was like, yo, you seen that? Oh shit. That was new to us. We were like, yo, we gotta start doing this. Then we started seeing a lot of people doing that. For me that's when I started seeing breakdancing. Before that I would see people rock to the music. In the gang, too. In the Dutchman Club. Grab each other by the head, stuff like that, but nothing as far as the floor was concerned. You get it? That came a lot later when b-boying evolved to another level.
And before you know it, you had all these crews coming out. It wasn't no breakdancing, breakdancing this, no. It was called rock. Why? Because the dance itself emerged from up rock, which is the dance that people used to do back in the day. You know, we used to diss each other, do the little turnaround thing, you know. You flip your man, you got a shotgun, you shoot the guy. It was almost like fighting without the violence. So, if you ask me about the history of top rock or up rock, I'm not going to give you that much information. I got people older than I who could tell you how that formulated. I'm talking about the history of the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew. And my name is Batch. I'm the founding fathers of the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew, and I'm 56 years old, baby. The first time I saw b-boy, which y'all call breakdancing, was in 1975, when little TT Rock fell to the ground from an up rock move. It was a 360-degree turn in the air, and when he fell on the ground, we all thought he was gonna break his ass, and he did these little weird moves on the floor, and we mimicked his moves. Fascinatingly, this took a turning point from up rock to rocking. Twins or something like that. But you had also people like Band too, like African American brothers. So let me get to the point, because I don't want to delay this. Mm-hmm. So the first person that I saw going down was an African American known as Little TT Rock, Troy Rowan, in 1975, right there, back of the court where they used to play handball at. Little TT Rock was doing an up rock move and he fell to the ground because he was a basketball player. Type of kid that just loves to hang out with Puerto Rican people, but he wasn't no joke. Like, we had a lot of respect for him because Little TT Rock had some type of a psychological complex why he couldn't hang out with his own people, but he likes hanging out with Boricuas. Mm-hmm. So he was a part of us, but when he said something or he got into a deep subject about his roots, we would just look at each other like, yo, you better listen. Because he reminded us like Mayweather type of guy, you know, he had that appearance and he used to love playing basketball. So his thing was trying to always do a 360 degree in the air to dunk the ball. He was a tall young brother. Mm-hmm. So when he fell to the ground, he was falling back, and people was like, "Oh, be mindful. We ain't had no car balls, cushion, none of that." And he tried to do this fancy stuff, a move 360-degree up in the air, then come down and do his little shuffle. And his favorite thing was like this shotgun move. That's where I got that from, the little TT Rock. So when he fell to the ground, and he didn't got hurt, but what happens when we fall on the snow? You ever seen an old lady fall on the snow and you